Morn. Yes, because I'm morn. Let me check right now. Check. 1, 2, 3.
happy about that. That's good. It'd be great to have everybody here every time. Yes. So my name is Brennan Aspen. I'm the Deputy Superintendent here in our school district. It's Tammy Whitaker, and she is the lead negotiator for SJEA. And we just wanted to make sure everybody knew what was going to happen today, because it is a little different when you're in negotiations. So just so you have an idea, we have our table here, our table in the middle here, we have our lead negotiators, okay? And those are the folks who talk back and forth to each other. And then at some point, once we pass information back and forth, then we'll probably separate and caucus. One group will go into one room, another small group will go into another room, talk through what we talked about, come back, and then talk back and forth again, and pass and repass papers back and forth. They're the only ones that are allowed to talk. Even our folks who are sitting at some of these other tables, they would need to whisper in our ear or put their hand up so we can go ask what they need in case they need to say something, or we can say it for them. That just keeps everything moving very, very smoothly. But so I'm not saying we're glad you're here, you can't say anything, but I kind of am saying that because that's the way it works here with negotiations. Okay, so just so you know, but we are so happy that you are here. We're really looking forward to today. So, Tammy, do you want to say anything?
No, I mean, if you have questions when we caucus, usually we'll address the audience, and then you can ask questions of the bargaining team, but we also like to make it quick so that we're not keeping everyone here all night long. But just if you can put your phones on silent, if you need to take business, take that outside, please, so we can get this done. Thanks for coming, really appreciate it.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Mr. King?
Good evening, Chesley. We're live. Yeah, we're good. Ms. Mosley, do you need to do some introductions?
I guess we could. So I'm Morgan Mosley. I'm the chief negotiator for SJEA, and I teach at Soquoia Creek High School.
Sally Cunningham, SJEA, and teach at Hartley Elementary.
Kide Sudler, SJEA, speech language pathologist evaluator for some schools in the north end of the district.
Lisa O'Rourke, I'm an ESA teacher at Royce Creek Elementary School, SJEA. This is my 18th year in the district.
You guys already met me. Jennifer Jarrett, I'm a teacher at Crookshank Elementary.
I'm Jessica Shaw. I'm the head of physics at Pedro Menendez High School.
Shara Rakowski, food service worker at East High School and SJEA president. Carol Goronskis, vice president, Florida Education Association.
Diana Churchill, transportation.
June Floyd, Pine Island Academy, custodian.
Kate Dowdy, SJEA president.
Heather Lawrence, SJEA treasurer, and I teach at Timberland Creek Elementary.
Okay, I am Wayne King. I'm the associate superintendent for human resources.
Hi, good evening. I'm Kathy Weber. I am the chief financial officer for the school district, and I'm in my 27th year with the school district.
I'm Mike Judas, and I'm the chief of staff for the school district.
Cynthia Williams, president, senior director of school district.
Jay Land, salary and benefits.
Staff curriculum and instruction.
Nikki Applehouse, principal at Hartley.
Jeanette Murphy, principal at Massetti Bay.
Ryan Blair, Human Resources.
Parker Raymond, human resources.
Paul Roach, Facilities and Operations. Paul Antonelli, Student Services.
Amy Snodgrass, director for budget.
Al Pantana, Transportation. Mike Baker, Food Service.
All right, thank you. I think we probably need to get it out of the way and just sing happy birthday to Al just real quickly. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday, dear Al. Happy birthday
you very much. So we'll go ahead and start negotiations.
Okay, so I do have a brief presentation to work through. I'm going to stand for. There are also 17 other birthdays in here, so we'll go around and thank everybody else in the interest of time. So a couple of things. I'm with Dick, as I mentioned, I'm the Human Resources Associate Superintendent. And firstly, it's a pleasure to be with Ms. Mousley and the team tonight to actually be here in a position to do this. We have bargained over the last couple of years. Throughout the course of this discussion, or the lead into this discussion, was for us to get on an even playing field with surrounding districts from a recruitment and retention point. I think we're there tonight. Also, I think it's important, even though we're now just launching into this work, is that every time we touch it, every time we speak about it, every time we communicate about it, we are also looking to re-up it. We're also in sort of conventions to look to see how do we get this and how do we continue to have this over a period of time. This is for 4 years. We feel strongly that we would need an ongoing. So I say that as a way to say, make sure we understand the facts, we can introduce some people that we can communicate accordingly. So, firstly, we just wanted to thank the electorate. We wanted to thank those people who voted for us in such overwhelming numbers. 68% of the population that voted for this, and that is a testimony to the body of work that we all do, here. It is recruitment retention for teachers and for staff. So that reflects the shared commitment to quality education. That's why we're here. And so we're here to thank everybody who did vote for it, because it is, as I said, a testimony to what we do. The funds generated from this village are essential for the district to meet its goals and have a lasting positive impact on the entire community. So we feel better help us, all of us, better prepare students for the future. The objective of the MOU that we signed back before the vote was for recruitment and retention, retain high quality teachers and staff. And that we did agree that 85% of it, we'll see that in the next slide, would go to that purpose. So recruit and retain quality teachers and staff. We've already signed, your bargaining units, in conjunction with us, have already signed and committed 85% of those dollars amount to this purpose that we're here for tonight. That MOU is signed. We're just going to work through how does that look moving forward today as well. Invest in school safety and student welfare. You see some of the tenets of that throughout the bargaining last time. And preserve and enhance educational programs. We spoke at length about how do we continue to evolve, how do we continue as we grow. We're opening up a new school again next year. And then we continue to adapt to the student needs and the populations that we're receiving. But the top one is why we're here tonight, recruit, retain quality teachers and staff. And as a reminder, 85% of those dollars have already been pre-committed to them. So some of these numbers will pass through the bargaining sessions tonight. And this is what it would look like if it was a current estimate today. The value of that would be $58,662,000. You can see that figure up there. The net available amount, because there it would be by law, is an allocation that would go to our charter schools as part of the school choice initiative. So we would take out that school, the charter school allocation. We're required to do, we do now. And then as on the bottom there, it's hard to see that it says please note actual village revenue collected will vary based on changes in property value across the district. So I think part of our goal today is to agree conceptually what we're trying to do with it, because we will still have to come back and look at has that number changed in tax rolls when that comes in July 1st next year. Well, those are the available figures today. So it is a substantial amount that goes back to the initial trust that the voters put in us, because it is a significant amount of money in comparison to what we have been bargaining with over the past X number of years. So 85% has already been agreed to. That's already in the MOU that was signed prior to this meeting. So that preliminary estimate would be $49 million and change. Again, this is just in transparency. We'll give this to your bargaining units. These figures again are estimated figures based on where we are right now today. But then the financial breakdown, there will be FRS and FICA deductions. Those are always in there as part of it. And then what we're looking at is the population based on your bargaining unit. So the number of people or the percentage of people that are in each of these bargaining units, SJEA, SJEA, and then split it accordingly. Right, so those would be the parameters to say, as of today, 54% of our workforce are teachers or in the SJEA bargaining unit. They would proportionally get that share of the aforementioned figure in the prior slide. SJEA, approximately 34% of our employees in that bargaining unit. So correspondingly, again, these are approximate figures. Those figures are allocated there. The group that's not up there, that's 100% is AOC. There is a parameter that we did meet with both your board and your superintendent. There would be a threshold of no less than 5,000. So that's part of what we're here to discuss tonight, that we feel that no employee should fall below that threshold. And again, we do this for 4 years. We will come back and acquiesce as a group every year based on the figure. Right? The figure what we know from the tax rolls and renegotiate the concepts. But this is as of today. Community impact. So again, as I mentioned, I think it's important. We look at figures, we'll go through some of the figures tonight. The district acknowledges that the revenue for this referendum, will benefit all of our students, all of our teachers, all of our staff, and hence why you're showing up here tonight the importance of it. We're keenly aware of that in the high growth, one of the highest growth districts in the state. Positively impacting the community through improved staffing and student support. As early as this morning, we had community members speaking to the board, about busing, etc. We think we can address some of this in a cohesive manner and a consistent manner. Enrich educational programs. Some of those efforts, and teachers be more aware of this, and we're supported through some of the ESSER dollars that have now applied, and then strengthen the district's education outcomes and throughout the school curriculum. So we feel it has a real broad range, and that we're excited, I think, to have these conversations. This money will not be available through July 1st, 2025. It will sit as a supplement, but it will be part of one's retirement, so that will have significant impact on a retirement quotient for all of us. Hence the importance of it, and again, hence the importance of making sure we understand what we're doing tonight, and how the steps we made today, because it's not going to be too long before we'll be out there in the public again, to have this renegotiated or re-voted on in 4 years. The asset sales tax was a 10-year. The community also voted on that. This is a 4-year commitment from the electorate. Review and amend process. So we will, again, this is a 4-year commitment. We will review this annually with both the bargaining units to ensure, A, that the figures, when the tax laws come in, we have the figures, those numbers could, probably will go up in terms of tax revenues. So these are conceptual figures, as if this was happening today. So our commitment would be to come back with the bargaining units to ensure we have the right figures, and speaking from the same, use it, and any amendments that we may see. So our goal again today is to get to a place where we're comfortable with the allocations, where we're comfortable with the concepts, so that we can get through the first year and then review it to see if there are other things that we need to tweak. So we reserve the right to do that with your bargaining leaders. Okay, thank you.
If I could, Mr. King, add one more item. Again, as Mr. King said, we're very thankful to the community. They've shown their support for our school districts as we move to the future. I also want to let you know that your superintendent and your board members also, they placed this on the ballot to even get it in front of the voters to vote, because our board members and our superintendent does care so much about you as an employee and how you help our students to be successful every day. So I just want to make sure this was a community effort, a school-wide effort, a board effort, a superintendent effort, and then as Mr. King said, our community, wonderful community, is standing behind our school district and helping our students be successful as we move on 100%. So thank you very much, and I just wanted to make sure that you were aware the superintendent and the board members were the ones with the initiative to place them on the ballot in the first place, to get as much dollars in your pockets as possible, given the money that we have. Thank you.
So just to qualify that, the body of that work started in 2023. So the concept that Dr. Osman referenced began in 2023. I think through the course of a couple of years of bargaining, we kept going back to the idea that we wanted to be at a level playing field with our surrounding districts, right? So both from a recruitment and retention viewpoint. And Dr. Aspen kind of undersold himself a little bit though, because himself, Mr. DeGutis, and Kathy Weber, all to my right and left, are really had spearheaded this entire project for the course of 2 years, down to setting all of those workshops, all of those meetings in the community at great length, and they're to be also appreciated for that work. So that is my intro.
All right. So, SJEA wants to also thank the community for helping this to pass. It is going to make a big difference in the lives of all of our staff in the school district. It really restores the faith in the great education system that we have in St. Johns County. And this is very exciting. We worked as a team to get this passed. So we're hoping that we can cooperatively work to figure out how this is going to be divided among the people who are in great need of the money. Before I pass our MOU, we sent out a survey to our members about how they would like to see this money, if it were to come into play, divided. And so I just want to set up kind of what our members asked for, and this will set up why we're asking for what we wanted. 69% of our members wanted the tiers similar to how we've done salary adjustments in the past few years. 58% thought that the top tier should be double what the bottom tier is. 65% thought that the years of experience should be divided in 5-year increments. 66% wanted an additional tier above the 16 to 20 or 16 plus, so to make a 16 to 20 increment and then a 21 plus increment. And 64% would like it evenly divided in their paychecks. So that's where we started. In terms of the percentage of how we'd like it among employees, I think we are all under agreement that it takes everyone in a school system to make the system work, whether it's, bus drivers to teachers to administrators, like everyone is doing their part to make sure that the students are successful and the school is running efficiently. So we are agreeing to the idea that whatever the percentage of instructional employees are in proportion to the amount of employees eligible for the supplement is what portion they would get, and then same with a non-instructional and AMC.
So they understand we're going to do 2 different MOUs.
Yes, and then SJEA and SJEA are dividing their portions up differently, so those will be separate MOUs. So, our MOU really, do you want me to display it on the screen for everyone?
I'll send it, Phyllis.
Give me the power, Phyllis.
Well, I was looking for my room number, but that's just. Do we know what the pin is?
You know what the pin is, Phyllis?
Phyllis. 6641.
Oh,
There it is.
sorry, I did the generic one and it did not work.
We got it.
It didn't pop up to you, said.
Oh, okay. It heard me. All right. So I do feel like our MOU captures a lot of what you all had said, or what Wayne had said in his presentation. So this first paragraph just talks about the 85% of the increase going to attracting, entertaining high-quality teachers and staff. And then the other 15% would be dedicated to educational programs. The parties agree that the amount of funds distributed to instructional employees shall be based on the percentage of instructional employees proportional to the total amount of employees eligible for the supplement. I mean, at our last calculation, and the reason that we're not putting a percentage in is it's gonna be different at the start of next school year, right? Like how many instructional employees we have. So like our last calculation, it was 55.77, but then you guys also have another different number there, so it's gonna fluctuate, so that's why we just put that verbiage in. The next paragraph really talks about that it's good for the next 4 years. We will need, again, to review it at the start of every year, or by the end of every year for the following year. And the next part, the 1 through 6, talks about that it's FRS eligible, that it would be paid within the employee's regularly scheduled paychecks, that we would like it to be a separate line item on their paychecks, just so people can see where that's going in, how much they're getting each paycheck, and those sorts of things. And then we have it divided up with years 0 to 5 would get, as of right now, obviously this number is going to change a little bit on either end, but $4,450 for years 0 to 5, which we put as one supplement factor, and I'll explain that in just a minute. Year 6 to 10 would get $5,562. Years 11 to 15 is $6,675. Years 16 to 20 is $7,787. And years 21 plus would be $8,900. Again, this is based on our most recent calculation, so this number is not going to be exact going forward. The reason we have the supplement factor on here is that we don't know what that number is going to be until the final calculation, and so if there is a difference from this number that we've got, then you'll use that formula to divvy up the rest of whatever that amount is. And then the last part just says funds generated from the village referendum are intended to supplement employee-based salaries and are not intended to diminish or supplement any other funds available to increase employee wages each year. And that's really okay.
Okay, I can go. Do you want me to do mine? Okay.
Do we want to caucus on SJEA or do?
So,
Okay, we'll do it.
Yeah.
I think it helps to just sit there
I know.
while we.
Yeah.
Can you just do, could you guys do a couple of suggestions that need to come up? I'm gonna have Morgan stay here. She's going to be my Diana.
Yeah.
You guys can come up.
I don't know.
So just wanted to say a couple things. I do appreciate all the comments, Dr. Asplund and Morgan. I think, we definitely are very grateful to the citizens of St. Johns County. This is going to be life-changing for many employees in this school district and will definitely help towards retirement over the next 4 years, and then hopefully 4 more after that. Hopefully we can continue it. We also did a survey, and it's very interesting because our questions were very similar, and they were almost equal in every single one. So the bargaining team made a decision to, this is what the bargaining team came up. All of the information is identical to SJEA's MOU. The only thing that we changed is that we have decided we're going to give all non-instructional employees one amount. I think this is, it was a tough decision for the bargaining team, but I think this is the first year. This doesn't mean that next year, we could change it next year, that we might change it the following year, who knows? But I think this is a good start. This number is obviously going to fluctuate depending on the numbers, and I'm pretty sure it's close. Yeah, so every non-instructional employee, whether you were 10, 11, 12 months, and then part-time would be obviously prorated accordingly, but you would receive approximately $6,000-ish in that amount. Again, this number is going to fluctuate. So depending on the money that is brought in, which could potentially be a little bit more, by the time the money is paid out, we hope that it is, and then if that is the case, it would still be divided up equally. I think everything else is the same, identical to what SJEA just presented, but we made the decision to give a flat amount to all non-instructional employees, and we are very grateful. We feel good about this. Thank you.
So I don't have questions yet. What we wanted to look at, because we kind of broke it down separately, right, was to look at an MOU that sort of qualifies the figures based on the number of employees in the union share by bargaining unit, right? So in our MOU, our first MOU, because we do have others depending on where we end up tonight, is just capturing that language, right? So then, Dr. Aston, so you'll get two sheets. One would be just the language on the MOU, and then secondly would be the figures broken down. So it gets you back into that percentage. And so what we would send then is do those figures that you produce to us match with that. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm ready to pass. We'll pass that.
Okay.
So it really is for this purpose, it really is both bargaining units. I mean, Morgan, and then we do have, we'll caucus, but then we do have separate MOUs for,
Do you want to put that up there or no?
Phyllis, you can push.
Can you go up the screen?
Yeah, I'll do it. So,
There's three more.
is that the language? Is that ours? Yeah. Okay, so just on the screen, for those who can see it there, it really just goes back into some of the language that I captured in the opening to say the objectives. I think it's important to go back to the objectives that were on the referendum ballot. It references back the MOU that we signed earlier, Morgan. And then on the attachments is that the 85% obviously would be used for this purpose. And then these are the numbers that we have as currently as we can. So I think it's the concept to your point, because if those numbers increase, and then we suspect that when they will, we'd go back and prorate it accordingly. So I think we would just ask that your numbers correspond with that.
And I just want to reiterate one more time because just remember that 58 million it's a projection. I want to be 100% clear that it's a projection. It is not the actual amount. The actual amount this year is for 24-25 is accurate, the 56 million. That's what one goals this year. And then we just added 3% over the next 4 years to try to kind of give us some kind of a earmark for how much it will increase. But please don't take this and go and tell everybody it is $58 million. We will make sure that we come back together when we actually have some property prices for that amount will be.
2249, that's the newest number? I had 2015 as the latest.
Those are approved positions, correct?
Yes, so it's not just employees. We want to make sure if somebody new gets hired, because we have 50 bus driver vacancies, we have X number of teacher vacancies, so we have to make sure that we account for everybody that gets hired can come in for this amount.
So what happens at the end of the year when that position never gets filled? Where does that money go?
So I think in the language that we've passed, and then in the share of percentage by bargaining unit, that money would stay in that group. So if it's an SJEA or the positions that have been unfilled, then when we reconvene, we would have that as part of the base for the future.
Carry forward.
So we'd like to carry forward, but I think that's the importance of capturing the percentage in each bucket. Again, there's outside groups that will look at the body of all of our work. So we anticipate that would just roll and be part of the what we bargained on moving forward, so it could even be additional funds.
Okay,
These are the numbers of approved positions. So there might be a discrepancy between yours. So that's why we would ask, we can send you this to see if what you passed, if your numbers flush for that.
close, yeah.
All right, questions for our team? Do you have a physical copy of yours, or?
I gave, there's somewhere. Brendan has it. There was an extra one somewhere.
Thanks, Sean.
We put them in different colors. So
Oh,
they all
well,
look
you know.
so
Yes,
the
Jake,
same.
yes, Jake, yeah.
Yes, Jake.
All right.
Copes?
Okay, where do we?
Yes.
Can
What,
go,
and
there's, I'm
I
sorry.
just wondered if you, can you email both of those to Phyllis?
Yes.
My number.
And Phyllis vice versa.
Within my.
So you'll have this.
So I would say you could go, you can focus, I would say either in the kitchen or in the cafe is what I would think
Okay.
you could do.
Okay.
And then, just so everyone knows, at this point, we will caucus. So the unions will go into a room, probably the kitchen back here, and management will go into another room in the building here. And I don't know, how long do you want to be in the caucus? How long do you want to caucus?
All right, 30,
How much do you guys need?
30 minutes? And then
I feel like we gave you more than.
all right, let's do 30 minutes, and then we can text each other
Okay.
for a run.
pass you over.
So don't leave, people.
Yeah,
Don't
so
leave.
in 30 minutes, we'll be back
You
to
give us more than one.
hopefully sign off
I
on
didn't
some
hear you.
You said you felt you gave us more than one. Okay, testing.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you for your time. We had some healthy, robust discussion on how to make a tripod work. So we did a couple of things just kind of in the order of it. So we have the sort of qualifying MOU there with you that has the budget piece or and so these are the budget concept, and these are sort of updated numbers or as updated as we can, obviously with the proviso that these things can change and will change, and that's in the memo. So we do think that in a protocol, that's the first thing that needs to sort of be addressed, because it does qualify the unit share by membership. So that's our first piece, and that is with you. And I think pending that, we have some language on SJEA, but I think we're conceptually in a place to come back. And then we would need some more time with some questions on SJEA. Okay. So I think this would be our first ask to see if there anything relative to the concept, because I think that does put us back in the same conversations in the year about the MOU, and it's referenced in both of yours. So we this is the initial idea, and then there's still the individual MOUs by unit that we may get to tonight. Would hope to get to tonight.
So I think the only issue would be that ours, I think, is a little bit clearer in how it gets paid out. And I think all of our language matched up with what you have, aside from how it would be paid out. So I think that's why we are wanting to use ours. If you want to attach this to ours, we have no problem with that. And I know the money aspect needs to be obviously discussed, but I think the verbiage of the top part on ours, I think, is a little bit more comprehensive.
So I think probably in essence, there might be 3 MOUs tonight, right? So, because I don't think the language that we adjusted necessarily, but this gives us the base of what the philosophy is with actual numbers. It's difficult to go back with some of that. And then when I say actual numbers that they currently set, and really, if the philosophy is it stays within the bargaining units, that's why the language is written the way it is. Once we pass back what you showed us, especially for SJEA, I think you'll see that language is protected as well.
Okay.
We wouldn't want the 6100.
Right, so the major issue we have is where you have the 6100.
That need to come off.
That would need to come off of your spreadsheet.
Which we can strike through.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
So if we want to start there, we'll scratch that off TA on that, and then I'll introduce Dr. Osman to go SJEA first. Take that off.
Okay.
Take the 6100 figure off.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Yeah, that one too.
Sugar needs to come off. That figure needs to come off.
I got figures.
Go scratch off.
Scratch. Yeah.
Scratch it and initial.
And what'd you say? Oh. It's fine, it's fine.
All right, she's printing a clean copy of that, of the,
Of this,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
okay. And we can hold on that one. We need one more, right? Did you find one?
I signed one.
We need 4.
Yeah, we have 3 signs.
Uno más, por favor. Brennan,
I didn't write anything.
where's your pen?
I go through a box of pens every week. I carry them around.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. Christmas. I like it.
You're good. You already signed those.
One for you? One for me? Okay, we get 2. Oh, I'll
Just
give
one,
one to
just-
Shar.
Yeah.
Do you guys get 2 or 1?
2.
Oh.
Here's one.
This one is one for
Here's
Shar.
2. Give it to us.
I'll just, it's okay. I'll just make a copy for Shar. It's fine.
I have another copy here we can sign.
Okay, can we do
You
that?
do that?
That way give one to Shar. Thanks. So do we need to explain what we just signed?
Yeah. Can we do that? I would read it.
Let Morgan is fine.
I would read it.
So we just signed the MOU that essentially outlines where the money is going, and that 85% goes to instructional, non-instructional, and AMC, as well as the funding document that breaks down, which he showed up on the screen earlier, that breaks down the 58 million, and then how we get to how that unit share gets broken up between those groups of people.
Thank you. Good. That's perfect.
And just the final piece on that is the date that will, because it'll run through the 20th. Okay, so we are ready to
Oh, we didn't sign it. I was like, what are you?
pivot to Jasper firstly.
Okay.
And then we may want to take a break and caucus and reconnect on SJEA. We have proposal. And it is on the board.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you get look for them.
Yeah, you can hear her.
More than how many copies?
We need
4.
We need 3.
1, 2, 3.
You need 5. Yeah.
5.
you guys need 2. We need 3, you need 5. I mean, we need 3, you
It's
need
been a long
2.
day.
Holy
Okay.
moly.
Yes.
Do we, is this my part? Oh, okay. Do we need to initial this there?
We should. Stay. Here, Brennan. Okay, sure, then, because I have to get mine to Brennan. Is that 5?
No, 3.
Just get rid of the other 2. Sorry. I thought we were just going to attach it, but I'll go new.
Oh,
I need those back. No, I need the ones I just gave you.
We're a little rusty.
I'm sorry, I borrowed a pen.
Okay.
I'll take my pen back though. when you are finished,
Sounds good.
because I like that pen.
Okay. You're up.
Is it my mortgage pen? when I close on my title company, I closed on my company. I sold my place. Yes.
Those are ours.
Thank you, thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay,
Okay, so we'll now switch over to just SJEA, and we're looking at the SJEA MOU, and the first two paragraphs look good, as you can see there. The next paragraph we crossed out, but just trying to make it clear. I think it was just a little uncertain. So what we crossed out was the parties agree that the amount of funds distributed to the non-instructional employees shall be based on the percentage of the non-instructional employees proportionate to the total amount of employees eligible for the supplement. So then we changed that a little bit. We just say the total amount of each supplement shall be equal for all full-time allocated positions in that bargaining unit. This supplement will be paid out under the following conditions. Number one, this payment is a supplement to the employee's base pay and shall be treated as salary. Number two, this salary supplement shall be FRS eligible for every employee. Number three, this salary supplement will be paid within the employee's regularly scheduled paychecks during their contracted year. Number four, regular payments will be clearly identified on the employee's pay stub. Number five, if payments do not begin on the employee's first paycheck of each contractual year, the employee will receive a retroactive payment to July 1st of each fiscal year. Number six, employees who are returning from leave, newly hired, and begin work after the start of their contractual year will receive a prorated share of the annual supplement starting with their first paycheck. Part-time employees will be eligible for 1/2 of the amount determined for full-time employees. Part-time as needed employees are not eligible for this supplement. Payments of supplements will stop upon termination of employment. And then the last paragraph, and I'll go back up for a second to explain one thing, but the last paragraph, prior to the distribution of supplements, the district and union will review all calculations. Initial supplement calculations shall be based upon the estimate of revenue to be generated. Should revenue exceed the initial estimates, the difference shall be carried forward and added to the amount allocated for the following school year for negotiations of these funds with SJEA employees. And then we crossed out the last part because we thought that was a little redundant. All right, so if you look back at right above the numbers where it says the total amount of each supplement shall be equal for all full-time allocated positions in the bargaining unit. We didn't put a specific number there because, as you know, come June, it could be $60 million, it could be $62 million, so it could be higher than this $6,000 when you break it out evenly. And so whatever it is, every year, whatever it is, it will be equal for all full-time allocated positions. And as you know, the assessed amounts for homes continue to rise, so this amount would probably more than likely continue to rise. Now, it could, like back in 08, it could go down, but whatever money we have, that's what we utilize across the board. So if we were to do it right now, as an example, yes, it would be in the $6,000 range, like you said, 6,000-ish. But if it comes back higher in June, when we do collect those dollars, we would then be able to raise that. It could be 7, it could be 75, it could be whatever it is, if it's equally distributed among the pot of money that is allocated for SJEA based on the last MOU that we just signed. Does that make sense?
I get it, but I'm not sure if employees will get that when we go to ratify this.
All right.
So my concern would be that if we don't put a dollar amount, there's a fear. We know that, lots of talk that's out. I know you're committed to that. I'm concerned if we don't have a dollar amount. Maybe it's up to, or.
The hard part is to put money in there. We can't spend money we don't have yet.
Right.
And that's the concern on our end, is putting a dollar amount in there and not being able to support that, because what if it doesn't come out at what you have calculated out here? What if for some reason only 94% of homeowners pay their property taxes, and so it comes in a little bit less. So there's a concern about committing. Our hope was that committing to this would show that here's what, and I know it's hard to explain, here's what, where the figure will go in. You'll be able to see what your bucket is, and then just be able to divide equally among the number of positions that
So
are
what we're all
in the
agreeing
school
to
district.
is, yeah, so what we're all agreeing to would be the concept of how it's divided based on the other MOU we just signed with that example, because this, well, the numbers on it's really an example. Because it could be 6,000, it could be 6,500. We don't want to write 6,000 in here, and then when it comes out 6,500, we can't give everybody 6,500 because we have 6,000 written in the MOU. So what we're saying is whatever it comes back at, which we all know is going to be higher.
Yeah, I don't
We just want to make
disagree
it
that it's gonna be
concept.
higher.
So
I
when
just,
it's equal, then you're not putting a number on this, but it will be calculated appropriately when we do get the real tax bill number. I know.
I don't know if I can get this ratified without a number. Okay, I mean, I'll talk with the team how we can do that. The last question is the carry forward, so let's talk a little bit more about that. When the referendum was, or the millage was put out, you know, all the dollars would be spent. So the question is, why would you not, at the end of the school year, the fiscal year, so let's just say July or June 30th, right? And you still have, you've allocated for positions that you don't have, they're not filled right now, right? If those positions still don't fill, why would you not just cut a check for that amount of money that's left over?
Because what if we hire 50 bus drivers in the summer? That's for recruitment purposes. Because we allocated for it in this, we would give that to them. If we don't, it would take us a little bit more time to say, you know what, we didn't hire everybody like we thought, so we'll push it into next year, and then it'll even be a higher going into next year when we allocate it out evenly. So that's why.
Well, the other piece is, Tammy, what if it comes in less? We're not gonna go back and take away money from employees either. If the estimate based upon the property, and we go by the certification, what the property appraiser says that what if the certification by the end of the year is actually less than what we allocated, we're certainly also not going to go back in and take money away. So the thought process was, for the first year, let's see how much, if there is money left over, how much it is, and move it, carry it forward to the following year. And if it is substantial, and we are in uncharted territory that we have never been in before. If it is substantial, then we can rewrite it next year, that we go back in and we redivide it among all of the employees that are still employed at the time of the certification that comes out at the end of the year. Because the certification is not going to come out until July 1.
That's the difficult part about all of this, is that no one is paid till after July 1. We don't get the certified amount until July 1. But we're bargaining for an amount that we don't know what it's going to be. If we look at it today, it's 58 million. By June, it would be 62 million. And we don't want to cut everybody off too early. We need to come back again and say, okay, here are the real numbers. We'll put them in this concept, and then they trickle out just like they did with the 6,000, but it's not going to be that. It'll be maybe 6,500. Depends on what comes back from the tax bill. So yes, it's difficult because we're TA on a concept, knowing that it's kind of like, remember the performance pay, and we had the formula, and then you didn't know what that number was going to be until finally we would negotiate that and put it in the formula, and it trickles out all the numbers. The thing about this is if we did the tax bill today, it's like 58, 59 million, right? So we can use that as an example. That's where we get the 6,000 from, right? But come June, it's probably going to be 60 million, 62 million, something like that. Do you want it to say 6,000 on here when we could have given people 6,500? I don't think so.
It's hard to TA a concept. I'm not comfortable with that.
So I do, correct me if I'm wrong, but the money that we are getting,
So I have a question. Are you negotiating for
She's not, she's
SJEA?
with us, she's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
the money that we are getting in 2025, right, start of next school year, is what's being taxed this current school year, right? So you will have that number July 1st of how much money you're gonna have to give teachers for the 2025-2026 school year.
Say that
or
again?
support staff.
Say that again. No.
That's not,
No.
okay.
Okay, then,
The tax bill that we just received the other day, I literally paid mine yesterday, is for this year's 24-25 school year. The tax, the 58 million we're talking about now is an estimate based on today's tax roll, what the 25-26 fiscal year would be, and would be under 2025 tax bill we got this time next year.
Because the 1 mil is not in this tax bill.
Right, you go and look at your tax bill, the 1 mil is not in this tax
It's
bill.
in the next one.
So we're paying ahead of when we're gonna start receiving.
I know, it's,
But you do that every year.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes, correct. Your FEFP, all of that.
I feel like we- That's okay. All right. Okay, we'll just, yeah, for now.
I mean, and I don't know, I mean, you really can't say it's, because like Kathy said, it's true, if you come out less, if you come out more, but the way the market is going right now, the chances of it coming less than what we talked about today,
Yeah.
very slim. If anything, it's going to be more than what we talked about today.
Right, I mean, Nassau County, it's already been more, Sarasota, every year, it's more. Same thing in any of the other counties in the past, it's been more, highly doubtful it's gonna be less ever.
We just don't want to tie into a certain amount when we can give our folks, everybody can give our folks more
Right.
by having the concept. So I hope everybody understands that. It's to help
Well,
everyone.
I don't know how I'm going to explain that to support staff, that's the problem. So, anyway, we'll talk about it.
All right, did you want to end with SJEA and then, because we've got questions rather than.
Yeah,
for
go ahead.
SJEA?
Let the teachers come on. We'll switch.
Okay, so we're going to switch a little bit to, a couple of us have questions on SJEA. So I think that with this piece that you had in advance, or that you had, the number, just a discrepancy with the numbers. So the number, when we put it in the formula that you sent us, was higher than this number. So that may just be, so this was 21 something?
yeah, so ours was based off of the number that you gave us in October.
So there would need to be a modification made there. I think that's the first piece. I think secondly, with the conversation and approval with the board that no employee should fall below a $5,000 threshold. That may be part of the selling point, when we do the language for both. So we would look for a modification there as well to get the 0 to 5 to that threshold. And then that may should correspondingly change the other tiers as well. So I think those are just two questions because the numbers just didn't add up. So I think philosophically, we were prepared or are prepared to tier. I think we thought that that's probably where you would be based on our current negotiations for the past couple of years. But that's why we wanted to do it under the body of that.
So
If you want her to show that, because it's up there, if you wanted her to show.
here's where, and actually the 0 to 5 should
Oh, that's
be
more.
44.50. That's almost changed that number.
So if you look at on that sheet that we TA'd on,
Right,
the
I
percentage,
understand.
the percentage number based on the membership, right, and that is positions. is-
And the number of employees is based on what was given to me the last time that we talked, so which
Yep.
very well is already different than what you now have given us.
Sure, but if I could say that's why even what Dr. Asper was saying, that the concept is really the bigger piece tonight, right? Because the numbers have changed.
Right.
Now,
but-
will they radically change the bargaining units? Probably not so much. It'll still be 57%. But if we started with the 21 figure, which is 54% or whatever of the unit, then that would change. So those, and again, if there's, it's a recruiting and a retention piece, right? So part of the philosophy with the board is the 5,000 figure is also an attractive recruiting number. You get that. And then does that still give you the capacity, which it should, to tier? Maybe not as deep as.
So the last time we met, it very much felt like you guys said, this is a pot of money that we're giving you to figure out what you'd like to do with, essentially. And now you're coming back and telling us the board is saying that you have to make something at least $5,000. So we surveyed our members. Our members want the tiers. They are very much under the understanding that 0 to 5 years have gotten considerable amount of pay raises. The bottom to middle of our salary schedule is very much compressed, right? And this is an easy way for us to try and like make up for that over the years. So instead of the board saying 5,000 is the number, why can you not go back to the board and say, we're not far off. That's not that far off for a number. So, and I think you're gonna make a lot more teachers happier with the tiers that we've come up with and the numbers that we've come up with.
So I'm not sure there was ever a discussion that here's the money, do whatever you like with it. I think it's part of a joint session, right? And we're all in the same boat together. I think the idiosyncrasies that you discussed in the salary schedule are not necessarily going to be addressed in this. This is a supplement. It's going to sit as an MOU and a supplement for hopefully many years, right? So we still will look at the salary schedule, and that's a commitment that we continue to bargain in that capacity as well. And if you continue on the trend that we've been doing, I think we have made, and Mr. DeGulis can jump in, made some strides because we're aware of the compression. We're not unaware of that as well. But I do think the board's goal, our goal, because when we go back out there, I'm going to look at retention numbers across the board, right? That's going to be part of what we do. And so that they felt that the $5,000 figure is a good base to start. Now, discussion that we just had, that could be just the base. When you tier the rest of it, you might be tiering it with more money in a different ratio and leave the base at $5,000. So that'd be the first thing. Secondly, the numbers should change then with these figures anyway, with the percentage and the bargaining unit. So that would tier a little bit that way as well.
Okay, so you're not presenting a counter right now? Well,
I don't know that I had enough because I'm not sure this balanced. So I don't know that I have a counter. I mean, I do have what we looked at, but I'm really just exploring.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, you were just asking clarifying questions, there's no counter being presented, right, this instant?
I think, no, I think A would be, we would TA on the concept, which is fine. I think if you were to take what we've discussed and redo it with the new number, I just wanted to be clear of the discussion with our board and our superintendent.
Okay.
I do have.
Right, well, yeah, in order for me to be able to fix that, I need accurate information, numbers of employees.
Sure.
And so forth, so,
the new information, so that.
newest and up-to-date information.
Sure, go ahead.
And then, Morgan, the only other question I had is on your spreadsheet where you have the quote-unquote goal number of 22,202,646. Where did that number come from?
From when we met in October, that was the number you guys gave us.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying, like, the number is ever changing, like.
It is, right.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All of the minutes on the website. website too.
Yeah.
It's on the website. From presentation.
Can I just ask one more thing?
Yep.
Just for you to consider, because I was in the executive session with board. So I understand you said that those who are between step 0 to 5 have received a lot of money. But you have to remember, when we stood in front of the public, we said we would recruit. And so there are a lot of brand new teachers that have not seen those increases that are coming in for the first time. And so the $5,000 was considered something that was felt for somebody brand new coming in with a few years of experience that could live in this county, that divided by 24 paychecks, and you take out the taxes. It's got to be something that is going to make somebody want to come and work here. So when you think about that, you can't just think about the people that are already here. You have to think about how are we going to recruit somebody to want to come to work for St. Johns County. And so that's what part of the, I mean, I wanted you to just understand kind of where did they come up with $5,000, and that was kind of where, what would be an enticing amount for somebody to want to come to work for us.
And I understand that aspect. I think we're on the same page with that. I think our standpoint is just that we're not that far off from that number. So it's not like we're saying they should only get 1,000 or 2,000, right? Like we're literally hundreds of dollars away. So that's something that I would like you to consider.
So I can present a counter to what we were looking at. And again, it is based on, so when we looked at it, we didn't have it tiered as many tiers as you, right? So, because we kind of kept it with what we've been doing in bargaining. So this would look at the 0 to 5 years piece at $5,000, the 6 to 15 years at $6,000, and then the 16-year plus teachers at $7,000. And again, these would just, again, it's conceptually based. These numbers would connect back to the initial figure on the document as well, and it provides for a tier. So
what was your rationale with collapsing the 6 to 15 tier?
Well, I think there was a couple of things. We're not trying to have as much of a spread between it. And remember, it's a 1-year piece, so you want to get off the ground the first year and then come back and see, are these things having an impact? And then secondly, with the idea of what our board and our superintendent wanted as a base, if we're staying within the 50%, 54% allocation. And then thirdly, if you're also bridging that with what work may happen independent of this millage with regular bargaining.
So just an initial reaction to collapsing those two tiers is that those two tiers actually, if you take the averages of the 6 to 10 and the 11 to 15, has the least amount of spread in them. Like that is the collapsed part of our salary schedule. So just that I think would not sit well with some of our members.
Okay, so do you have a counter proposal and updated figures? So
Do I have updated figures?
we just
Well,
send them to
she won't have updated figures until you can send that to her.
we can send in terms of
Like numbers of teachers in each of the
Categories.
tiers.
each of those tiers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get it to you.
No.
I think in these tiers we would, but not in the, I can look at it. All of the 5 tiers.
So is what Parker sent me, not Parker, what,
Noah.
yeah. So that's what I used to rate
So
them.
then we could
So
look
it is
at
updated. There's just a list of people at the end that don't have years of experience, or am I putting those in the 0 category? Because we don't know their years of
Right.
experience. Okay.
So those numbers will be updated. Then this figure would need to be imported.
So my question is, if you can attack a number for the teachers, why can't we put a number for the support staff? Why can't, if you can propose 5, 6 7,000 for teachers, why can't you propose something for support staff?
We went with when you passed to us, and we agree with that. That was good.
No, your point is absolutely, Tammy, I completely understand what you're saying.
Thank you. I think there's a way to write that so that if it's, yes, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't try to justify that one, Brennan.
We want to try and caucus tonight, or?
If you think we're close, I mean, I think if we can send you back the figures and drop that new figure into your spreadsheet and see how close we can get. I mean, Yeah. Or
Okay, if you can just write it, okay, thank you.
Yes,
Want to try to do it?
Your question, if we can.
Thank you.
Well,
Because I'm gonna have some angry people.
do both. We do have till July 1st.
It's up to you. I mean, it's gonna.
Yeah, no, I've got it. I got it. Okay, we're working on it.
Okay. I think we need to meet again, just so that we get it right. Yeah. So let's figure out some dates or a date.
Can you have Phyllis write it?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Read it.
How about?
Okay.
How does
But,
this-
well, I still have, here's the thing. I also have to have conversations about this last sentence as well,
Okay.
about the rollover. So,
So
but
let
if you can give
so
me
can
at least give me, go ahead.
So then, where it says the total amount of each supplement shall be equal for all full-time allocated positions in the bargaining unit. For example, based on current estimates, the 1 mil tax revenue for the 25-26 school year, that would be $6,027.45. So basically what I'm saying here is, as an example, the current estimates today, if we did it today.
It doesn't. The current estimate's 6110.
Well,
6110.
Based on your number.
But I based on this, based on the numbers you guys gave me. That was in the
You put
presentation.
6,027, and then you said ish.
Well, right, but, okay.
So I'm putting a number here, it's 6,027, what do you want me to write?
Put 61.
I can put whatever you want.
Okay. If we're going to,
If we're agreeing.
if you're agreeing to this, it's 6110.
Okay.
And it
No
could
problem with
be
that.
more, I
We only
guess.
put this, because that's what you wrote.
But that was based on.
That was based on the presentation.
The presentation, we put 61, the other 61, so good.
Just have Phyllis type that up and share it with us.
We do that tonight. You want to
Share.
do that
I'm-
tonight?
Just have her share it. I'm not ready to TA yet. I've got to make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay.
But I'm good with the dollar amount.
Good, all right.
Let me just say that.
Good with the dollar amount based on what's happening in the room. So, but we just need to finalize that last sentence around the carryover, basically.
Need to better understand.
Okay, Morgan, what you got?
Oh, let me.
Are we looking, I'm assuming we're looking at after Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yes. I won't be here.
My Thanksgiving is boring, so I don't really care. But, I mean, I'm good the 4th or 5th. I could meet the 2nd. My December's pretty open, the 9th, the 11th.
I would say don't do the second so that we have time after
Okay.
The 11th would be
Thanksgiving
good.
break to, okay, some people are not working.
The 11th would be good. I have
This one.
perk election
on-site election, the 4th and 5th at FSDB. So
Okay.
I have to be
We're
there.
gonna say the 11th,
The 11th,
5:30.
5:30. The 11th at 5:30.
December 11th. Be 5:30. Both or SJEA?
I think
We're gonna do both.
we'll do both.
If you could get Fullerwood, that would be better. Do we agree Fullerwood is better?
I don't know.
I don't mind it here.
I actually don't mind it here. I actually think yeah, I don't
I
mind
feel
it here.
bad there's an employee that is having to stay every time they have to print because they won't leave us access
Oh.
to their office.
5 or 6.
It's
If she
gonna,
can
let's say
send that to me,
5:30.
then I can work on it.
And I'll actually publish it today.
That's fine. It was more time to prepare.
Okay, did you get that? December 11th at 5:30?
Cats are out of here.
Okay, Jesse, just for the record, then we're looking at the 11th. It'll be both bargaining units again. We're tentatively scheduled for here. Fullerwood is back up 5:30. All right. You get it? Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
All
Did you
right.
say motion to adjourn?
Yes.